continuing. A couple of things I wanted to address. A lot of people in comments wanted to know, why do you have a water commissioner in charge of Memorial Field? A lot of people have asked the question, like, how does that fall under his, that was just a big question that has been asked over and over.
Number one, this government, this mayor structure is not advising consent. The mayor may choose people who have certain abilities and take them out of one area and put them in another. Commissioner Beauvais has the accoutrements of, he has the right aggression, he has the right work ethic, he has the right motivational skills, and that's exactly what I need in these kind of situations. He can talk to the contractors, he can do the things that we really need, because these are indeed trying times. These are times where everybody is trying to subvert the project, especially those who are elected officials.
Okay. Two things. Now, I want to speak about something that he said. He may have misspoke. He said he was taking employees who were, who were otherwise on the clock, but sitting around and not working, and bringing them to Memorial Field. And a lot of people are like, why do we have people sitting around not working on the clock?
I think that, and of course I have not heard that statement, but that could have gotten lost in translation. What we have is that we have programs, and we've had those programs, training programs. This is what we seek to do. We get people who have been broken, people who've had records, people who nobody else would look at. What we sought to do is take those people and give them a reason to go forward, a reason to make contributions, a reason not to be in deleterious situations that causes them to react in a negative way. And we've had success with that. What we plan to do is take the people who have been marginalized by the system and by their own activities, take them and say, we have hope for you. And when they are sufficiently trained, as you may have heard, there are many projects that's being planned and going to be executed. What we plan to do, the people that meet our expectation, we plan to take them and put them and place them in some of the key positions in the new construction that's being offered to the city. So my problem with people who come around and make excuses is that you don't see the big picture. The big picture is that we have been able to take people who have, for their own activities, been marginalized. And when people are marginalized, they don't make contributions positively to the city. When a person can look tomorrow and say, I'm going to go to work today, and they can come at the end of the day and they can see that they have made a contribution to the progress of the city, I think that's worthwhile, and I think that's worth doing. And this is what we're trying to do. We place people on projects to learn so that they can be better people in the future. And we've done parks that way, so I know it works. I know when I walk to a situation such as Memorial Field or other projects, and when people tell me that, Mayor, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, I feel good about all the sacrifices that we make on a day-to-day level. And I think this is what mayors do. We realize that if you put positive things in your community, chances are positive things will come out of it.
One of the things Richard Thomas mentioned in the previous interview was the workers. You talked about asbestos. I think Anthony Beauvais had taken down the snack concession stand, and because it had a lot of graffiti and stuff on it.
I told him to do that.
And he said
I ordered
that
him to take that.
it had asbestos or something, and they didn't have the workers didn't have the proper attire. Some people had shorts and sneakers. They didn't have boots and hard hats and what construction stuff. So these people get sick or hurt. And you want to speak to that?
First of all, to assume that there's asbestos on sites is the first thing that you got to dissuade yourself from. If we had an indication that there was asbestos, obviously it would have been illegal to do that without the proper
And that was
protection.
the point. He was saying that it was being done illegally.
I'm an architect, and I cannot tell you that just summarily that there's asbestos in it. And in fact, I can tell you that there was not asbestos in it because we have a clearance and an asbestos report that shows that we have removed asbestos from the site. So for Councilman Thomas to come to that conclusion, it means that he's come to a conclusion without fact. And he's parlayed that as if it were fact. It is not fact. You have to wonder, why would a person just jump to that conclusion, jump to that we're doing something illegal? The only thing I can think of is that you're totally ignorant of the situation, or you think that would put you in a political light, and that would catapult you into somewhere that you might want to go. And frankly, I don't think you're ready to go wherever it is that you are trying to get.
Lastly, we were talking about the march, the rally they had sometime in June. You had Reverend Mulrain, you had Lyndon Williams, you had the Senator Ruth Thompson. A lot of them, what was being said was, the money is available, the work's not being done fast enough, the county has secured the funds, the state has agreed to do whatever, the funds are available, but the work's not being done. They don't see the work being done fast enough. So some of the civic leaders, if you will, that was their rally cry for the rally, for the unity in the community rally they had.
First of all, I think there was one preacher there, and I think most of the preachers studiously avoided it because they knew what it was, and it varied differently. Lyndon Williams, the legislator, had blood on his hands because how can you say it's not being done fast enough when you yourself is one of the cogs in the wheel that keeps it from turning. You have monies that have not been expended towards the rapid success of the project. Then you had Senator Ruth Thompson, love her to death, but obviously she must not be thinking, how could you be put in a rally saying there's money there, it's not been done fast enough, and you didn't send the money home? How could that be? Mulrain, the good reverend, should be ashamed of himself because he was asked to come to the site to see what was happening, never found time to do it, yet you find time to get up and speak with a forked tongue and say that it's not being done fast enough when you in fact don't know what has been done. So this was really a parade of ignorance, a parade of self-appointed people who, for whatever reason, thought it was politically convenient for them to parlay ignorance throughout the community. It wasn't unity in the community, it was disunity promotion time in the community. And so I looked at that and I said, my. I look at what has been wrought on the community. Until people who are honest and respectful and want to tell the truth come to the fore to lead the community, we're going to be in serious, serious trouble. But we will go on. We'll go on because of the young men and women who depend on me to try to help them through the next day. And and I find it worthy of my efforts to go through all the trials and tribulation that we sometimes go through. Because at the end of the day, there's this little lady out here who come up to me and give me a hug and wonder how I'm doing and pray for me to keep going. And to me, that is worth all of the effort that we can make. So at the end of the day, I know that if you look at Sanford Boulevard, we had 15 lawsuits trying to stop me from doing that. If you look at the roundabout, you had people who had serious doubts for that. Everything that we possibly want to do, there's somebody who want to stop us for whatever reason they have. We have 42 West Broad Street. There are people who don't understand that would feed that community, would catapult it into a positive financial, social, and economic posture. They don't see that. All they see is that they don't understand it, so they don't like it. But we cannot, as a people, do things that will not nourish the next generation. If we are positive and we keep doing what we're doing, it might not be popular in every section, but I know at the end of the day, we have done the right thing, and the people will be nourished by our efforts. Just like Sanford Boulevard. If I had stopped down at Sanford Boulevard, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We would be in a bankrupt state, because that project created over 1,500 jobs. It brought in millions of dollars worth of retail sales tax. It added energy down in an area that will be catapulted to influence other development in that area. So I know that nobody said it was going to be easy, but we'll get it done. I absolutely know that.
In closing, what do you say to the residents? Now, at this point, the residents have heard from everybody. They've heard promises that haven't been kept. They've seen, there's been a lot of talk. They really don't know what to believe. They just want to see Memorial Field done, as well as some other stuff. What do you say to the
Well, unlike the rest of the would-be people, I have a record. I have a record of achievement. Most of the building that's been done in this city has been under my administration. I didn't take this job to fail, and I knew it was going to be uncomfortable in many levels for me. But I'm not that important. But the work that we do is important, because it will lay the groundwork for greater work in the future. So I think the people understand that. I talk to the people. Maybe we haven't gotten enough out there to the people. But as they say in church, may the work that I've done speak for me. And I think enough of the talk. Let's get this work done. And I think if we work together rather than apart, we can definitely take on Memorial Field and even larger, more difficult projects. But we have to work together, and we have to be singing the same tune. Otherwise, the concert will be a flop.
Do you think we can get to that point? Like realistically, do you see that happening?
Oh, and we have. I mean, but people do what they think they can get away with. You got to take a guy like Richard Thomas, that he doesn't understand that there are a lot of people who are dissatisfied with his rhetoric. Lyndon Williams. How can you stand there and say what you say, knowing that you had the opportunity to make the project better, make it real, and for whatever reason you didn't, and you're trying to slither out of it? That won't work. But at the end of the day, God has blessed me with the ability to, if I need to go to the county and talk to the county executive, that's what I would do. I would do whatever it is to bring this situation to a meaningful close.
And thank you for your time.
Thank you.